because one of my favorite shows that was from the 80s, I think they did a remake of it in maybe 10 years ago or something like that, Footloose. They are bringing it to Fairfield Union High School, and I am so excited to have the music teacher of Fairfield Union High School who is directing this musical, and I can't even imagine because I did watch the movie recently just to see, and it is also because I know of one of those characters in it is, we get to hang out every now and again, and I don't want to, it's business, personal stuff, but anyways, I'm really excited to have Mr. Gregory to talk with me about the musical. But before we get to that, tell me a little bit, if you will, about yourself, because Mrs. Ritten, who was the previous music teacher at Fairfield Union High School, was there for quite a few years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so everybody knew her. As a matter of fact, if I recall, I think she was trying to retire during the COVID.
Yeah, she was trying to retire about a couple years ago, and then she managed to stick it out, and then she retired at the end of 2020, right when COVID hit, but she wanted to come back and do the Sound of Music for the musical, so I got to study under her a bit, which was really nice for that.
Oh, you did, yeah. And that made it nice for her, but at the same time, it was probably kind of like one of those things. You get so psyched up and ready to do something, and then that happens, and she can't even do what would have been her last musical. So that's pretty cool that she had you as right there on hand as well, because I'm sure it just made it even better.
It was nice for me to just watch her and just watch how she does everything and just see how the production kind of worked. And it was nice to just dip my feet in the water before I could just be like, here's a show, go direct it by yourself.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been teaching?
So this is only my second year teaching. I grew up in Gahanna, Ohio, which is a suburb east of Columbus. So it's funny that I found myself here in a rural area because I always grew up in the suburbs. But I grew up in Gahanna. Both my parents are teachers, so I kind of knew I wanted to be a teacher early on. Both my parents were involved in theater and band and choir as well, so they aren't music teachers, but I was just always involved in those as a kid. So I found myself wanting to do that from an early age. And after high school, I went to OSU, and I found myself involved with the OSU marching band. So that was a big time commitment and a big accomplishment I really liked at college. And then I also, after OSU, I went and student taught at Reynoldsburg, back in Gahanna as well, and I student taught during right when COVID hit, so that was pretty tough.
What was your inspiration? Was there a specific musical that you just loved when you were younger that you said, I am going to do that one day?
Yeah, so it was after my sophomore year of high school. We did West Side Story. That's one of my favorite musicals. I love the dancing in it. I love the music. It's very complex. Leonard Bernstein is just an incredible musician, and so I loved the music behind it. We did it my sophomore year. After that, I was like, I knew I had to be a music teacher someday. My choir director was a huge inspiration to me as well at Gahanna, and so I knew I wanted to be a choir director as well, and I got lucky enough to end up at a school that I could be the director of a musical as well.
So what has it been like for you so far being on the teaching end of things? Because you had mentioned you came in, right, and you did a virtual class for music. How in the world do you do that?
The first year, it was pretty difficult. I'm a teacher because I like to build relationships with the kids. So I knew going in, I was like, I'm going to do my best just to build relationships with the kids off the bat. You know what? Everyone's struggling. They're struggling with virtual. Teachers are struggling. Everyone's struggling. So we're just going to struggle together. But right off the bat, we had hybrid status, which means I saw kids A through L one week and kids with last names N through Z the second week. So I would only see kids every other week. So we would have a whole week of teaching, and then they'd be off doing something virtual for a week, and then they'd come back in for another week. And so that went on for a while, and it was frustrating at points. Like I'd get with one group, another group, and they'd be off on different paces because some would go faster than others, and it's like
well, and you're being newer at it. You're just learning the students and their voices with who's going to work with who. And A through L, there may be a whole lot of A through L that needs to be over here with M through Z that you can't put together because their last name was a different letter.
The one benefit of it was that I got more individualized learning with kids. So I have a choir right now of 70 kids. So if you split that group up a little bit, then of course it's a little bit easier to work with those kids. And my top group is about 23 kids. So you split that, assuming that both the last names would split equally. It's about 11 and 12, which is more individualized. So I got to, build closer relationships with those kids in those smaller groups. So there were some positives to it. But then we went full virtual, which was that was pretty tough. I basically did an assignment where the kids had to sing into their iPhone, and then they sent it back into me, and I had to edit it and mix it. And, you know, a kid would send in a recording, and there'd be a dog barking in the background, and I'd either tell them to re-record it, or I'd try and edit it out. So it was good, but it gave me some experience with that, and we just tried to do our best with it.
Right, yeah. So how did you all decide that you were going to do the musical Footloose?
So my old theater director, I go to her a lot for inspiration because she's been directing musicals at Gehanna for 30 years, and she's a queen at it. And it's kind of funny because the whole story of Footloose is about a city boy going to a rural area and trying to...
Here you are.
And here I am. Like, it kind of like, it meshes with me well. So when I read it, I was like, you know what? This would be good for the community, because we just did The Sound of Music when there was like no dancing in it. And it's like, you know what? Let's do a show that's super lively, super upbeat, a lot of dancing. The kids were so excited once I announced it too, so that made me feel pretty excited. But I feel like my story and the musical story kind of relate, and it also relates to the kids as well. It's about a rural city.
Yeah. Well,
right?
and it's about, you know, when a city guy gets coming to town. I mean, they're getting a little taste of what that's all going to be like. So when is this going to take place?
March 17th, 18th, and 19th at Fairfield Union High School at 7 p.m. So it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, March 17th, 18th, and 19th.
Another question, though.
Yeah.
Is it difficult getting these playwrights?
Yes. So basically, if any school around your area is also doing that production, then they won't give you the rights for it. So you kind of have to like go right away. So like right when this musical is over, I already have to be thinking about what I want to do next year, which is kind of taxing sometimes because I want to focus on this right now. But like in the back of my head, I'm like, I got to get the rights for the next year's musical. So I'm not behind, because if, you know, Burn Union or Liberty Union, if they get those rights before me, then sometimes they don't let you do them, because then you're kind of competing with each other.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So are you just really looking forward to this musical? I can't wait for you. I'm so excited.
I'm really excited. This musical, I mean, I like to do both band and choir, but I think doing musical theater, that's my main passion. You know, I'm also the assistant marching band director at Fairfield Union, so that's another passion of mine as well. I love the drill writing. I love the aspect that goes into like the formations of marching band, but musical theater is my favorite thing. I just love to see kids on stage acting in a different role. You see them in a different light. They're connecting with each other in different ways. There's singing, dancing. It's an amazing experience.
How has it been with trying to choose who is going to be what character?
Auditions are always the worst part. It's always the worst part. It's the best part and the worst part, because you're excited because you know what, it's finally starting to happen. You finally start to get to see people, you know, play the roles on stage, but then you never want to upset kids. And you always want kids to have the best experience possible. So it always is a hard choice when you have people going up for auditions, and then what we do is after the auditions you do callbacks. And so if you have, you know, two people who are like, you don't really know, decide, you couldn't get enough from the audition, because, you know, auditions are only one song and a little bit of acting and then dancing. If you need to see more, you call them back. And so I had a callback of like 15 kids trying to decide everything. And you have like 3 different lists, and you like, any kid could play certain roles. You just got to find the best fit for each one and just proceed with it.
Mr. Gregory, is it kind of like an interview also to know what their passion is? Because when it's a lead role, especially in something like this, holy cow, and it's like nonstop with Footloose, and we all know the main character and what it's like for him. Well, most of us who've watched it knows.
It's not always about talent either. It's about, do you have the time commitment for this?
That's it, yes.
You know, if you have a job that it requires you to be gone like Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, and you're only there Tuesdays and Thursdays, like...
You can't be the lead.
You can't be the lead.
There's no way.
And so, you know, that there were some kids that had the talent, but then I'm looking at their schedule, I'm like, you don't have the time to do this. You know, I want you have the talent for it, but you got to make a commitment to it.
Yeah.
And so that does play into a huge factor, and that's the hard battles when you have the talent against the time commitment.
Yeah, and sometimes you just got to do what's best for the production of the musical, not for the...
It's not about me, it's about the kids.
Exactly.
It's about the community. Like, so like I could put a certain kid in a certain role, and then they could do just as well in another role. It's just what is serving the musical the best.
Right.
Because if whatever you serves the musical the best is going to serve the community the best.
That's right. Well, I'm going to probably have you hang out a little bit, because we'll probably come back to you, because I've got a few other questions that I want to ask you. So, but thank you. We'll be back in just a minute. Folks, don't go anywhere, because I've got a couple of the main characters, the lead, and then another. Oh, he's so funny. It's just going to be fun. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Downhill with Tina.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Life is unpredictable. That's why estate planning is important. Estate planning provides you comfort and peace of mind knowing that you're taking care of your loved ones and ensuring your legacy lives on just as you envisioned. You lived a life that is beautifully and uniquely yours. You deserve an estate planning attorney who understands that and creates a plan as unique as you and in the best interest of your loved ones. You deserve the local, trusted, experienced attorneys at Dagger Law.
Welcome back. It's Down Home with Tina. I have a senior at Fairfield Union High School. He is the lead character in the upcoming musical called Footloose. And Kade Dennison, I just want to welcome you to the show. It is no secret that you love music.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, what is it that you said you want to be, and you are working towards doing that?
I mean, I'd love to be a musician one day, like just playing anywhere I can, at bars, wherever, like I can play. Because, I mean, ever since I was a kid, my dad would always play great music growing up, and I just found it so inspiring, and I was like this is something I want to do. When I first got, like, my guitar, I was like, this is, like, so much fun. And it was just, I picked up on it real quick, and I got my acoustic on my 16th birthday, and I just, like, started playing with that, started messing around with it, and I was like, why not try singing? And I started singing on it, and I was like, whoa, this is like a game changer. And I started,
right.
I mean, it just blew up from there, and I just started singing all sorts of different songs, and I mean, I just love it. I just want to do it one day.
Do you have a certain genre of music that just kind of pulls at your heartstrings, that you love it?
I switch back and forth between country and like 90s rock, sometimes 80s rock, but grunge music, I love grunge music. It's the best.
Do you write your own stuff?
I've tried, but it is very difficult, I will say, trying to write your own stuff.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to work on it, trying to, like, when I grow up. I mean, I'm still 18, so I feel like I got a couple of years to, like, really get to my full potential. So.
Right, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what is it like for you because you ended up going into, well, when was the first time that Mrs. Ritten would have been? She was the music teacher, and of course Mr. Gregory is newer, so what was it like from learning from her, all of what you learned from her when you were younger? And I can ask Mr. Gregory's students this in a few years.
Growing up in middle school, we gave Mrs. Ritten a very hard time.
Because
we were little hooligans back in middle school. It was pretty bad. I mean, she did teach me a lot of stuff. She was surprisingly, like, there was one day I went over to the piano and like know nothing about instruments. She just teaches me, like, I forget what song it was. It was like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star or something. I was like, whoa, that's super cool. I mean, she's taught me a lot, and I mean, I'm super thankful for her because she has, like, shown me a lot of stuff when it comes to music. And
she's very passionate, and I got to tell you, just getting here and meeting Mr. Gregory for the first time, the energy and the passion he seems to have for this as well and the dedication. We were talking about the commitment of these students coming in and trying out and auditioning for these parts, but the passion he has in it has got to be just as much in the time commitment as well. So
definitely.
Okay, so what is your role in Footloose?
I am the lead Ren McCormick, star in Footloose, and I couldn't be any more happy than I already am getting that role. I mean, it's a lot of responsibility and it takes a lot of time definitely to get the role down, but I definitely know I know I have what it takes to do it. To do it, yeah, because it's a lot of dancing. It is a lot of dancing.
What have you learned from watching the movie? I'm sure you've watched the movie, right?
Yeah, when I first found out, I think the night that Mr. Gregory said we were doing Footloose, I think I went home and watched the movie like twice. I was like, dude, I have to get everything down. I want to be Ren so badly. And I went home and I watched it and I was like, dude, this is gonna be so cool when we actually do it.
Coming from a rural area, of course, and all, what has it been like trying to become a city boy coming into? Is that, because that's a whole new character, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's still there's a lot of country in me, but I still have parts of city boy in me. Not really, but I feel like I can very well like try to act like Ren.
Easily and get
Yeah,
into that part.
definitely.
Have you had to do anything to become that character or that role as far as like preparation for it? Like I know.
Like back to the dancing part, I knew nothing about dancing, and Ren is all dancing like the entire time. So
Yeah.
dancing has been the biggest part about it because I knew absolutely nothing, and now I have to learn so much about
Right.
it. It's
Do
so
you
hard.
find with dancing and music and things like that, they kind of go together anyway? So has it been kind of
definitely.
easy for you too?
Oh yeah.
To do
I
it?
mean, with the counts in music, you get counts in music and then you get counts in dancing, which helps me so much more. Like you get like the 8 count or whatever it's called,
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that, and like it's super easy. Like, but the dancing itself, learning like the moves and stuff, I mean that takes a little bit of time. Like our choreographer Carrie was teaching me the moonwalk, and I went into it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like this is gonna take me like 3 months to learn. But no, like she gave me like the basics, and I don't have it down completely yet, but I have it down enough to perform.
Yeah, I know. We did have this conversation. It's so funny you brought up the moonwalk because what I tell you, do you remember me telling you that
Yeah.
I was the 6th grade Geneva Hills pool party winner of the Michael Jackson moonwalk? Yeah. So I did tell Kade, I was like, if you need any tips on the moonwalk.
Yeah.
I was totally kidding with you though. Yeah, I'd probably fall. I could probably. So maybe we'll have you do something like that. I don't know. I would love to have you, if we have time today, do some kind of little dance move
Definitely,
or
that'd be
something
cool,
like
yeah.
that. Or if you have a video of something, maybe we can try to put something up while we're the moonwalk. Maybe we
Yeah.
can get you a video. We'll figure it out. We'll see what. So what are you looking forward to? This is your senior year, your last production. I'm going to probably cry with all of you seniors because you
Oh,
always
yeah.
do that last night of the musical
Yeah.
and every year, and it's emotional.
It's gonna be like, I mean, pretty emotional, I feel like, because it is the last thing I will probably be doing, like involved in my senior year, like something where I feel like it's basically like you take sports and you're like, yeah, sports are a dedication, and so is this. I mean, I was playing football. I mean, yeah, that's a really big dedication, and this is just as big as like dedication. Like you have to put every single day of the week basically into this, like reading your script, dancing, singing your songs. It's like it's gonna, the night we perform, like the last night we perform, I'm gonna be like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Like
and
the last thing I did like my senior year, but
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Good. I'm so excited for you. And what's really cool is your best friend, who becomes your best friend in the
Yes.
musical, is also one of your real life best friends
Yes.
as well.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and he's coming up next. So we're
Yep.
gonna talk about that. Anything else you want to add?
I mean,
to tell folks.
Everyone come out and watch it whenever
Yep.
March 17th, 18th, and is it 17th?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Well, and you'll let me know when tickets are up, right? Because they're gonna they're
Definitely.
gonna go.
definitely.
And it'll be on
Yeah.
the Down Home with Tina page when there's tickets. Like they are ready, but I got to get ours first.
Yeah, definitely.
Make sure we got to. No, it's not all. I just don't want to miss it. It's going to be amazing, and I'm so looking forward to seeing it. And congratulations on that role
Thank
and
you.
that part. And folks, don't go anywhere. I'll be back in just a minute. We're going to talk to co-star. Is that what you want to call it? Co-star? Yeah. Freddie Burke. No, that's not his. It's his role. It's okay. Yeah, we'll be back. Folks. It's Down Home with Tina.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area where the fountain is and the memorials and the flags and all this stuff. And we looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. And the employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Down Home with Tina is brought to you by these amazing sponsors. And folks, there are several ways you can watch CLN, Your Hometown Connection, our Facebook page, and Spectrum 1021. But right now, we're going to get to, he is one of the co-stars of the upcoming musical that's going to take place at Fairfield Union High School. It's called Footloose. His name is Freddie Burke in real life. However, who are you going to play, Freddie?
I'll be playing Willard Hewitt.
Willard Hewitt. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I'm excited. I got really lucky to have a part where I don't have to change much about me. I can keep my cowboy boots on the whole time. I can pretty much wear the same outfits I wear every day.
Yeah.
And I got a best friend that I already have in real life, so that makes a quick, easy connection.
Absolutely, absolutely. What is the biggest challenge for you, though?
Definitely the dancing. That's going to be the hardest part for sure.
It's almost too bad. Hopefully somebody will have the camera rolling when you're actually learning it, when you're getting ready to do actually.
That'll be really good for the blooper reel.
It'll be just really good because it's really what's happening and what you're doing. So, have you been in any other plays or productions at Fairfield Union?
Yeah, I was in The Sound of Music last year. Yep.
How was that?
Really good. It definitely a big switch from last year's role to this year's role.
Yeah.
More of a traditional role last year, and
kind
of a comic relief too.
Yeah.
That's kind of the roles I usually am playing.
Yeah.
And but yeah, definitely from a 1940s businessman to a 1980s cowboy.
You can't beat that.
Yeah.
Going out your senior year with being in a role like that and character like that. What has it been like so far with your high school career in any of the shows that you've done?
Oh, just a blast. All of them are super fun with directors we've had. Mrs. Ritten was great, phenomenal. Had her pretty much my whole life in music.
Yeah. Did you did she do the younger kids as well? She did. I thought so. So you all grew up from just grade school, elementary school, all the way up with her. What was it like when she decided to go on? I know I was there because they had to hold it off for a year because COVID, nothing happened, not even a retirement celebration. Yeah.
Definitely really sad, very emotional. We all knew we were going to miss Mrs. Ritten. We were all really worried, but we got Mr. Gregory coming in. Right. We definitely really liked him right away from the beginning. Yeah.
What has it been like being taught and directed under him so far? His energy is amazing.
Definitely. It's a big confidence boost with his energy. He kind of brings out the best in you. It makes you want to learn more, makes you want to better yourself.
Yeah. So what are you looking forward to this production, this musical?
Definitely just having a good time with my best friend and just
keep learning and doing it and going out with your bestie at your side in that very last production of it. So thank you so much for being with me, Freddie. I wish you the best of luck. It's going to be a great time watching the two of you interact up on that stage. But one more thing, do you feel that Kade teaching you, is that going to be a tough, because in your friendship, who's been the one that's been teaching the most in life, in real life? I
think the issue is we're going to have too much fun goofing around, not enough time learning.
So it might be your real life thing up there. It's already sounding like it's a given. That look on your face is so funny. Yeah, it is. You're going to have a blast, no doubt. Freddie, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. Folks, don't go anywhere. I'm going to be right back. It is Down Here with Tina.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza. Yes.
Make a plan today.
Welcome to the high school football game of the week. I'm Jaron Stewart alongside Tim Shoemaker. Tonight, we've got a great one for you. The Bloom Carroll Bulldogs.
We had a great week of practice. Even in the rain and the weather, we had a great week of practice.
Schneider, lots of running room to midfield. He's gone. Run Schneider down the near sideline for a touchdown for the Aces.
Grab a hold on the offense, number 20. That penalty will be declined. They'll bring up fourth down.
We're going to give you this game ball here because you're a Tiberios fan of the game. And thanks for being here, Jacob.
Thank you. The Polar Bears are your OAC tournament champions, first time since 2009. What an exciting finish for the Ohio Northern Polar Bears.
Be very proud of this trophy because you've earned it.
It's Downhill with Tina. I have Mr. Gregory. He is the music teacher at Fairfield Union High School and choir director. He does just a whole lot of music stuff, and I'm just so excited to have him on. And he has been talking about the musical. He opened the show with me, and now he's going to close it. How many students are involved in this musical, Footloose?
So on stage, there's about 40 kids, about 20 chorus members. There's about 20 roles, 10 pretty decent-sized roles, 10 smaller roles, and about 20 chorus members. And then off stage, we have stage crew who move the scenery and the set behind him. We have makeup crew, costume crew, so probably about 60 kids in total.
A lot more than you usually have in any of the others. So yeah, huge thing, and I'm just so excited, you guys. It'll be great. But ticket sales.
Yes, tickets go on sale February 19th to the public. You can get them on Fairfield Union School's webpage under the Performing Arts tab, and you can purchase them there, and you can select your seats for any night, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday.
And there are how many seats in the house? So
There's
should
about
have
630
plenty.
in the house, so there'll be plenty.
Come out once, come out twice, come out 3 nights if you want.
$10 a ticket.
$10 a ticket is not bad at all. I want to thank you so very much for all that you have done and all that you have. Folks, I just think that music and the connection that music has with all of us, and this is where you can bring your family out, you bring your friends out. Is it going to be something that's available via television or anything?
No, but there will be DVDs of it.
There'll be DVDs, okay, because I knew that sometimes Interface Video and some others, they get involved and they have all of that. Anything else that you wanted to share with anybody?
No, I'm very excited for this to be happening. I'm very honored to be doing this, so it's going to be a very cool experience.
Perfect. Folks, we've got a little special clip here at the end of the show. You're going to get to see this guy here for a minute or two, and then you'll get to also, if you get out there in March, you'll get to see him on stage as well. Thanks so much for watching Downhill with Tina. God bless. Good day.